Hello and welcome to today's Dav Chat. I'm an Australian living in the United States. My name's Davina. Welcome. Talking about Robert Hur and his partisan gang of Republicans who are improperly acting in a way that distorts American institutions that we depend on for the safeguarding of the common good, the common interest, etc., etc. And by talking about Robert Hur, I'm also going to briefly mention the etymology of the word politics, because I'd like to rehabilitate the word politics from its current usage, referring to people jockeying for power within a partisan framework, and rehabilitate it to a word meaning the principles of good sense applied to public affairs. Now, I just memorized that definition a little bit, the second one, from a quote from Ames Fisher, writing in the Boston Repertory in November 1806, where he wrote, "Politics is the science of good sense applied to public affairs, and as these are forever changing, what is wisdom today would be folly and perhaps ruin tomorrow." So yes, politics and the sense of what makes for good politics is in continuous flux. And the meaning, as many words are, is in continuous flux. But I'd like to still insert some more positive associations with the word so that people don't dismiss politics or the study of politics as being all about negative jockeying for power and self-interest, and instead remind people that politics should also refer to the principles of governance and the art of seeking good governance. So Robert Hur, let's see a quote from someone on Twitter who wrote, "You'll want to see a dead body." So I can go back and show. Oh, yep. That went away. Oh well, the account is Chris Evans, or not Captain America, and I can find him. Robert Hur had lied that President Biden was not correctly able to remember when his son Beau died. Biden remembered precisely the month and day of the month, May the 30th, which Beau died on, because obviously when something hits your heart with Thor's hammer of grief and shock and dismay, then that date becomes etched. So Biden was super clear in a way that someone whose intellect was written about in 33 stories by the Washington Post, as only one example of legacy media, in the 4 days following the release of Hur's report. They wrote 33 stories about Biden's intellect and his fitness for office because his memory was impugned by Robert Hur in an unnecessary and partisan way, destructively partisan way, because Robert Hur was reporting on why he elected not to charge Biden, in that the evidence didn't support any charges, and he laid out why, and then just snuck in an elbow into Biden's political chances by generalizing negatively and pejoratively about Biden's memory, couched in a damned with faint praise kind of way, like, oh, a jury, I'm going to speculate about what a jury would feel now in a way that's unbecoming to somebody in the Department of Justice. I'm going to say a jury would find him probably a pleasant old man with an imperfect memory. Something like that. Something like, oh, but I'm saying he's nice. And we're all good. We're not good, Robert Hur. You suck. You're a partisan hack. And you were complicit in the push to oust Andy McCabe, the former deputy director of the FBI and James Comey's subordinate, within minutes of his retirement, his scheduled retirement, in order to deprive him punitively of his retirement benefits because he had been part of an investigation into Trump's connections to the government of Russia, specifically the tyrant imperialist Vladimir Putin, whose aggression towards Ukraine is not news to anybody anymore, but whom Trump is certainly a fanboy for, and a vote for Trump or failing to vote for Biden, all would make any of my listeners part of a coalition to help Putin, and Putin won't stop it invading Ukraine. So I'd just like to point that out. Please align yourself with a coalition of decency that seeks to put a stop to Putin's conquest ambitions and his ambitions to destroy as much of the West's democracy as possible in order to provide less of a contrast to make his own dictatorship look less bad. I think I put too many double negatives in that sentence. Putin wants to undermine Western democracy in order to stop Western democracy showing up his own failed state politicking. That is to say, his own authoritarian society, which, like all authoritarian societies, crumble under the weight of crooked self-interest propelling policy decisions rather than sound politics conducted in the best interests of the mass of people. So reject Putinistic authoritarian politics. Question your own daddy issues if you're attracted to strongman leaders who boast about how strong and tough they are, like Trump with his tariffs, and look into actually how harmful tariffs are and how harmful it is to you individually, to families, to communities, to have a fascist crook like Trump in office, and self-serving partisans like Robert Hur advancing their own interests by seeking to undermine decent people and misrepresenting their memory of their own eldest child's death. Thank you. And thank you, Christopher, for your commentary. Oh, it's Christopher. Bye, everybody. Take care and talk to you soon. Cheers.